Play the clip.
If Kamala wins, you will have mass amnesty and citizenship for all of the Biden-Harris illegals that poured into our country. If I win, you will have the largest deportation operation in American history starting at noon on Inauguration Day 2025. And you know, I don't say that happily because it's not an easy situation.
Play the clip.
If Kamala wins, you will have mass amnesty and citizenship for all of the Biden-Harris illegals that poured into our country. If I win, you will have the largest deportation operation in American history starting at noon on Inauguration Day 2025. And you know, I don't say that happily because it's not an easy situation. Great again. When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. And we are going to make our country great again. When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists. Who's number one with Hispanics? Well, Trump.
Yes, you told us that earlier.
I love the Mexican people and their spirit, but the country of Mexico is killing us. I want to build a wall. I'm going to build a wall. I want to build a wall.
No, go ahead, Donald.
No, I'm a gentleman, Hillary. Go ahead. What I say is what I say. And honestly, Megan,
I'm going to take such good care of women's health care issues, you won't even believe it.
Do you believe in punishment for abortion? Yes or no, as a principle?
The answer is that there has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah, there has to be some form.
Such a nasty woman. Trust fund.
I have tremendous respect for women.
Have you ever done those
women
things?
Have respect for me.
But I'm surging with women.
I think Hillary would be a terrible president. To Hillary, to
Donald Trump has small hands. So I said, small hands? These guys know. I hit a ball 280 yards. Stand up, my club champion, stand up. Do I hit the ball good? Do I hit it long? Is Trump strong? Huh? He referred to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small. I guarantee you there's no problem. I guarantee it. All right.
Slide. Maybe we unfortunately had a massive distributed denial of service attack against our servers.
You know, it hit very hard, but hit the ear. And I also heard people.
The sort of slide that got you to turn that saved your life really was the illegal immigration slide. Maybe this, maybe this is worth talking about that.
It was
that slide saved
you're
your
right.
life.
No, the illegal immigration saved my life. You're right. But and they're telling them, if you come back, we're going to kill you. We're going to give you the death penalty or kill you. So they don't want to come back. But these are rough people.
Yeah.
These are criminals that make our criminals look like nice people. And it's horrible what they're doing.
2020 election. Donald Trump has been indicted twice over his efforts to overturn the 2020 election. And some of his recent attacks on Vice President Harris and how she became the Democratic nominee are stirring fears that he's laying the groundwork to try to do it again.
This was a coup. This was a coup of a president of the United States.
Actually, they forced him out. It was a coup. We had a coup. That was the first coup in the history of our country. And it was very successful. She was the first one out. And that you can then be picked to run for president seems to me actually unconstitutional.
And my panel is back now. I'm not a lawyer, but I do have a broad sense of the Constitution. And I don't think the Constitution says anything about political parties or how a nominee should be picked in a political party, which is exactly what the whole story within Biden and Harris, Biden going out and Harris being put in there, says. Okay. Yes. Okay. All right. So just putting that aside, let's look at the big picture, because every time I hear him or people who are allies of Donald Trump say coup or say, I spent $100 million on Joe Biden and look at the sort of a bait and switch, I think, what happens if he loses? Is he telling us ahead of time what he's going to do after Election Day, just as he did in the 2020 election?
This, to me, is almost the latest iteration in what we've seen for the past couple of years now. The former president hasn't stopped in trying to sow doubt in democratic systems, in the elections, and the integrity of elections, really since the 2020 election, right? And now you see the latest iteration, which is trying to basically put the focus on Kamala Harris now being at the top of the ticket as well. You've heard him use words like coup and what have you, but as you say, there's nothing in the Constitution that backs that up, obviously. And there's a process in place that is now playing out. They're going to follow that process in the DNC as well. But I see this as just the latest step in something that I remember the FBI and the Homeland Security warning about after DHS, saying that continuing to make false statements about the election and the election process will have a ripple effect, and will have a negative ripple effect when it comes to perceptions across the country and people's trust in democratic systems.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's pissed. He was running against Joe Biden and doing very well, and now he's not. The rally sizes, he puts a lot of stock in those things. So this is happening on the ground in Georgia, passed by the state election board. Counties now have leeway to delay reporting of the votes that come in. Election board, the former president did in Georgia, light on fire, that they're pit bulls for transparency.
Now it seems like groundwork is being laid potentially to at least slow down, if not,
Well, this is hamper, because this is based on a fundraiser in Los Angeles yesterday, and he's
by a lot, and that means we held a call to mobilize disaffected GOP voters. Thousands of lifeline Republicans and former lawmakers
firsthand witness to the chaos of the Trump presidency behind closed doors.
Let's discuss with former RNC Communication Director Doug Heye and Democratic strategist Laura Fink. Doug, should the Trump campaign right now be concerned about these voices, disaffected Republicans in your Republican Party?
They should, and I'll tell you specifically why, Wolf. It's not because of anything that we necessarily just heard. It's what I saw in Raleigh, North Carolina earlier this year at a Nikki Haley rally, one of the last ones she had before pulling out of the race. The atmosphere in that room was very real. And those voters who were there, they were very real. The ones who were wearing the T-shirt.
Responding. The name of the company, but they go on strike and you say, that's okay, you're all gone. You're all gone.
Vice President Harris and I have both had the privilege of joining workers on the picket line. Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, they see the world very differently than we do. They've waged war on workers. And their ability to collect...
Every vote counts, as they say. Laura, Trump is getting some serious backlash over his comments about workers on strike earlier in the week. I want you and our viewers to listen to what he actually said and how Tim Walz is responding.
Well, you're the greatest cutter. I mean, I look at what you do. You walk in and you just say, you want to quit? They go on strike. I won't mention the name of the company, but they go on strike and you say, that's okay, you're all gone. You're all gone.
Vice President Harris and I have both had the privilege of joining workers on the picket line.
Corporations the upper hand when it came to those very fine.
Here's a comparison of border security and immigration under Trump and Biden, based on the data provided. Trump administration. Border apprehensions. End of Trump's term, apprehensions were high, with over 70,000 in December 2020 and January 2021. This was higher than in the last months of Obama's presidency. Overall trend, border apprehensions fluctuated significantly, peaking in mid-2019 with over 132,000 in May. The final year, FY 2020, saw a 14.7% increase in apprehensions compared to Obama's last year. Policies and actions. Title 42 policy, implemented in March 2020. This allowed for rapid expulsions of border crossers due to the pandemic, which reduced the numbers temporarily. Remain in Mexico, a policy to keep non-Mexican asylum seekers in Mexico while their claims were processed. Fluctuating numbers, the pandemic led to a drop in crossings, but apprehensions increased again as restrictions eased. Deportations and expulsions. Deportations averaged around 500,000 annually under Trump. Title 42 led to rapid expulsions, but overall deportations were lower compared to Biden's later numbers. Processing and detention. Crowding. The administration struggled with processing capacity, leading to overcrowded facilities and temporary relief measures like expanded use of parole. Biden administration. Border apprehensions. Initial surge, apprehensions soared after Biden took office, partly due to the rollback of many Trump-era restrictions and increased numbers of unaccompanied minors and families. Recent trends. Border apprehensions exceeded 1.3 million during the first 9 months of FY 2024, but have decreased after Biden tightened controls and reinstated some restrictions. Policies and actions. Title 42, initially kept in place but ended in May 2023. Biden's administration then faced high numbers of expulsions due to increased border crossings. New policies. Biden introduced new measures and programs, including expanded use of parole to manage migrant flows and address root causes of migration. Deportations and expulsions. Deportations exceeded 740,000 in the year after Title 42 ended, higher than Trump's average due to increased crossings. Biden's policies have led to more expulsions and deportations overall. Processing and detention. Facility strain. The variety and volume of migrants have strained the system, with many being released into the U.S. due to overcrowding and delays in processing asylum claims. Summary. Trump's border situation. High apprehension numbers and fluctuating trends suggest that the border was a persistent issue throughout his presidency. His policies had mixed results, and while there were some reductions in apprehensions due to Title 42, the overall problem remained significant. Biden's border situation. Faced with a sharp increase in crossings initially, Biden's administration has implemented new strategies to manage the situation, including ending Title 42 and introducing expanded parole programs. Apprehension numbers are high but have decreased from their peaks. In both administrations, the border situation has been challenging and subject to fluctuations. Trump's term ended with high apprehensions and ongoing issues, while Biden has faced record numbers but has also implemented new measures to address and manage the situation. Key points on why Trump didn't fix the border. High apprehension numbers. In the final 2 months of Trump's presidency, December 2020 and January 2021, border apprehensions were significantly higher compared to the last 2 months of Obama's presidency. Specifically, there were 71,141 apprehensions in December 2020 and 75,316 in January 2021, compared to 43,251 and 31,576 in the same months of 2016. This indicates that the number of illegal border crossings was notably high during the end of Trump's term. Increased yearly apprehensions. The total number of border apprehensions during Trump's final year, FY 2020, was 14.7% higher than during Obama's last full year, FY 2016. This shows a general increase in the number of apprehensions under Trump. Fluctuating trends. Border apprehensions fluctuated during Trump's presidency. While there were significant drops in 2020 due to the pandemic, overall trends showed high levels of apprehensions, especially in mid-2019. This inconsistency suggests that the situation was not consistently under control. Policy impact. Trump implemented several measures to control illegal immigration, including restrictions on asylum and the Remain in Mexico program. While these policies affected the numbers, they did not fully resolve the underlying issues, as evidenced by continued high levels of apprehensions. Especially before the pandemic drastically reduced numbers in early 2020. Pandemic effects. The pandemic led to a temporary decline in apprehensions due to restrictions on movement, but this was a unique situation rather than a long-term solution to border issues. When restrictions eased, apprehensions increased again. Overall, while Trump's administration took various actions to address border issues, the data shows that apprehensions remained high throughout much of his term, and in fact, the problem may have worsened toward the end of his presidency. The claim that the border was fixed is contradicted by the evidence of ongoing high apprehension rates and the fluctuating trends during his time in office.